Again, there are certain things about me that are probably never going to change. That I've been the same way since I was 11, like most of you. But there's a couple of things about me I can say are very different, especially over the last few years. And one of them is my response to game time situations that put that evening's broadcast in peril. Now, I don't know what the hell just happened. I know there's like 3 streams that started up. I wasn't seeing we were on somewhere. I did a test stream before because last night I was tinkering with all of the performance and output settings on my encoder over here because we wanted to make some of the user experiences on Quite Frankly.tv's end of things even better when you go there and you watch After Hours and you cast it to your TV. We wanted it to be available in the highest HD there is. I don't know. I don't think we have that. What's that, like 10,000K? A million K at this point? I don't even know if we're at 4K. We're at least at 1080, which looks fantastic on a 60-inch, 55-inch screen. But anyway, if this was me 10 years ago, I would be, because I'm off somewhere. Somewhere it's not working. And I'm just going to have to deal with it later on. It's all right. So, que sera, as they say. And welcome to the show. It is the February 11th edition of Quite Frankly, the year 2025. We're 19 years into this mess. And God willing, we've got another 29 more. At least. It's a Tuesday night. We're chilling out. I also have a couple of other great things to say. Before we got on here, we did a successful test of the Bluetooth calling here at the studio. The one that screwed up last night with Chris Ann Hall when we wanted to bring you guys in to ask questions of the guests. That's going to be a big part of the show going forward. That means that I really only get to sit back and have a handful of questions because then we get to let you guys maul the guests a little bit from time to time. From time to time. But that is, I think, good. I think we're going to be good with that. So we'll be able to do some more stuff with that soon. We did another good test of that very same scenario back at Studio B. So I think that we should be good. Which begs the question, what happened last night on air when the Marshmallow Man called in? It sounded just low and twisted and choppy. I don't know. So we'll just see what happens going forward. Anyway, here's what we got for tonight. It's going to be a little bit of an extended grab bag. I have stories that are going to carry us on through in the grab bag over here. We got stories about monkeys who caused nationwide power outages in Sri Lanka. Then we have some updates from DOGE and whatever, just at the other end of the intro. And then I want to start taking your calls in between all of those headlines. It's a call-in night, but I've got a lot of things that we can just drop in. In the second half of the show, we have a great article by Krista Roman, the editor-in-chief of the Quite Frankly Bulletin. In the February Bulletin, we have a really nice article of many articles, the Secret Service code names of 8 presidents and their first ladies. So I want to do that because it's a short read, but an interesting one right after the intermission. And then, of course, we have an emergency decision that's been made by NASA because the chances of a city-destroying asteroid hitting Earth have now been increased to 1 in 43. Okay? That's going to be in 2032. So we'll do that in the second half because I want to hear what everybody has to say about that. What are you going to do in 2032 when we have a flyby, 1 in 43 chance? Oh man, you Lucifer's hammer people. We know what's up. Anyway, okay, let's get on with with everything else. Do we have anything this week? I'm really looking forward to Bob Mata on Thursday night. I'm looking forward to Lauren on the show with me on Friday night. I've got so much stuff for Valentine's evening that I hope I can fit it all into the format, into the time we have. But that's a good problem to have. We can make adjustments along the way, and if the calls are good, then everything is well. Next week, Marley Hornick, Albert Taylor. We've got a couple of Saturday night specials coming up. Let's see here. Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Homesteadonomics, Jane Barlow. They're all coming up, and we're starting to look forward to spring. I'm also starting to take really great suggestions from people for not only future book club picks, but for film club picks. Now, I already had things like iRobot down here at one point to look at that. Rear Window, I told you about that. Eyes Wide Shut, we got to definitely do that, maybe in December. Godfather, we have to get around to at some point. Fatso, Dom DeLuise, mentioned that last night because my cousin Dave, Silence of the Lambs. People have been sending me some really good stuff, and I'm starting to put it down, and I'm feeling good about that. And one last, oh yes. No, but I'll keep that for after the intro because I want to get around to this. All right, here we go. Updating you all on the grab bag news right here on Quite Frankly. The first one is Trump's DOJ. This is something I think is worthy of some theorizing as well. I think everybody has their assumptions. You're either happy with those assumptions or not. But the headline from the New York Post and wherever the hell else you've seen it, Trump's DOJ to toss New York City Mayor Eric Adams' historic bribery case, agrees with Democrats that charges were politically motivated by Biden administration, or agrees with a Democrat, Eric Adams being that Democrat. So the question is, because we've spent enough time on air with the likes of Sal Greco to get some really dirty laundry dealings on Eric Adams and the circles he runs in and what he represents as far as, the inside man and how inside. So there's nothing here that I don't doubt the bribery thing. I don't doubt. You remember that was like international level as well. I forgot what other countries were brought into that. I do not doubt that Eric Adams is guilty of these charges. That's just me personally. That's where I lean on the truth of the matter. But the real question is, what has been traded? What has been traded for this bribery case to be thrown out? I mean, we're going to know if it's immigration related, because Eric Adams is going to have to, that's going to have to start coming together quick. Are you going to start emptying out all the hotels and emptying everybody out? Is that the trade that's been made? We'll know soon enough. I just went to go vote for our new county executive because George Latimer, who of course was at the helm when the Biden administration were smuggling probably thousands of people through Westchester County Airport over the last 4 years. George Latimer was in charge, and now he has moved on to bigger things in D.C. as a new representative to the House for, I think, District 16 or 17 or 18, one of that. Either way, he was the county executive. So there was a special election today to replace him. And before I came to the studio, I went and voted in that, and we'll see what happens there. I'll tell you, I heard about this 2 days ago. Someone asked me about it 2 days ago. I said, "Oh shit, there ain't nothing around." I would love to see the vote totals, because I don't know anybody else that was voting before I started texting them today. And I don't even know if they went after I texted them. So anyway, there's that. What do you think was traded? If it's the immigration thing, it's going to be very hard to miss. But if there's anything else, write it down on your little notepad over there and call in later. Here's on the immigration front. Here's a little bit more from Tom Homan. This clip came from Fox News and tweeted out by Nick Sorter. Take a listen to this.
Where are these leaks coming from?
Oh, hold on a second.
I think it's coming from inside.
Talking about the leaks. All of the leaks that's been coming out to assist people in evading ICE deportation raids and everything else. Here we go.
Tom, where are these leaks coming from?
Well, look, we think it's coming from inside. And we know the first leak of Aurora is under current investigation. We think we identified that person under investigation right now. The California leak Secretary Noem, she's correct. Some of the information we're receiving tends to lead toward the FBI. But I talked to the Deputy Attorney General.
Talking about FBI leaks.
All this weekend. They've opened up a criminal investigation, and they have promised that not only this person lose their job and lose their pension, they're going to go to jail. They're going to criminally prosecute. So we're all over it. We got the DHS IG investigating the first one. Have a pretty good idea what happened. Can't share a lot because it's under investigation, but the IG's opened up a criminal investigation on the second one. We're sending a strong message. It's just not, giving the bad guys a heads up so they can escape apprehension. Right? We're arresting, giving, the Venezuela gang a heads up so we can't arrest them. You're putting officers' lives at risk. It's only a matter of time if we walk into a place where there's going to be a bad guy doesn't care. He's going to be sitting and wait for the officers to show up and ambush him. This is not a game. So DHS and DOJ are connected at hip to hold these people responsible in a criminal fashion.
Tom.
Man, that's just think about that kind of permissive and even encouraged aspect of the culture at the DOJ. Just think about that. I mean, especially if you've been watching this show and shows that are in this show's orbit and all that and channels since 2015 and 16, and we really started piecing together what was happening with Crossfire Hurricane. I mean, even with Andrew McCabe, even somebody Andrew McCabe, you want to talk about leaking, high level leakers. I mean, that guy, he got his pension back. Would it be double jeopardy to go back after people like that because they deserve to be in? Oh my gosh. So anyway, it's great to hear somebody speak as forcefully as Tom Homan is speaking about this, and I believe him. I have no reason not to believe him until we're given a reason not to believe him. So, but he seems like a pretty serious man, and here's a very serious monkey. Total chaos. Absolute pandemonium as a monkey is blamed for nationwide power cut in Sri Lanka. The energy minister says the monkey came into contact with grid transformer causing hours-long outage in a sweltering heat. Did the monkey die? Let's see. Countrywide power outage in Sri Lanka had been blamed on a monkey that clambered into a power station in south of Colombo. The blackout, which began around midday on Sunday, left many people sweltering in temperatures exceeding 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not that hot. But I guess it is if it's like humid and you're piled on top of other people. I don't know how crowded Sri Lanka is. A monkey came into contact with our grid transformer, causing an imbalance in the power system. Is the monkey dead? That's all I want to know. Engineers scrambled to restore power in the island nation of 22 million people, prioritizing critical facilities such as hospitals and water purification plants. While some areas regained electricity within hours, many households without generators remained in the dark well into the night. On social media, Sri Lankans likened the incident to a slapstick comedy, while others highlighted the fragility of the Sri Lankan power grid. One monkey equals total chaos. Time to rethink infrastructure, perhaps, one user wrote. That's quite astute. An astute observation. Only in Sri Lanka can a monkey knock out an entire nation's electricity. Yeah, I guess so. Well, there you go. If I were to guess, the monkey got zapped to death. And that's just the way it is. That's all she wrote for that damn monkey. So I hope you guys have a great time with me tonight. Please share the show far and wide, whether you're watching live or on demand. It doesn't matter. It's all the same experience. At least I hope it is. Can't wait to take your calls tonight. Get those phones nice and fired up. We'll be right back.
People should know when they're conquered.
Would you, Quintus? Would I?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's run!
I got balls. Biggly diggly balls. Biggly diggly balls. Biggly diggly biggly diggly balls.
Biggly diggly 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 balls. Who out there, if you know who Crotch Duster is, you are a real one. You are a real one. Don't even pretend. Don't pretend. Okay? It's only cool if you really, really know who Crotch Duster is. That was some classic stuff, man. Classic. I had to go find this one. Crotch Duster. Oh, man. There's just so much. So many memories with Crotch Duster. Anyway, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on with me. And before we get into everything else, real quick, because we discovered something with the Keto Brains orders today. Guys, Molly at Keto Brains, she got back to me because I inquired about something. Somebody had come to me about something very strange. And it was about the delivery, not the product. And Molly is apologizing profusely, and so am I, about 36 out of the 80 or so packages of samples that were already sent out. Apparently, they were put into envelopes that were larger than that they usually send out. And somehow this resulted in about 36 out of 80 people getting their samples show up to their house. And the United States Postal Service tried to collect $3.85 from them for postage upon delivery. Now, I don't even understand how that is possible, since shipping is supposed to be paid up front no matter what the hell the cost is. And I was going to be shouldering all that. I have never heard of the United States Postal Service charging the receiver of a package for postage at their address. I never heard of that before. But if this happened to you, if you're one of these people, here's what we're going to do. Number one, if you are prompted to pay even a penny for shipping, refuse the package, just return the sender, send it back, and Keto Brains is going to resend it to you in the correct envelope. And again, no charge, because we just want you to enjoy the product. Number two, if you already accepted the samples and were charged and you said, oh, it's only $3.85, whatever, that's strange. If you already did that, get in touch with me, because we're going to send you 3 more packets. And yeah, that's it. And I guess there's a third option. If you choose to pay the $3.85 for the postage, and then you want to get in touch with me and say, hey, I paid the $3.85, I'll send you 3 more packets anyway. Okay, so I'm really upset that happened. Every penny of this was supposed to be charged to me personally. And I promise I will make that right. So Molly at Keto Brains has promised as well. So just get in touch with me. Regardless of what it is, I know a lot of people have already sent it back. Good. Send it back. It'll be sent to you in the right package. USPS. What is that? What do they show up with, like an Apple swipe? I had no clue about this. That's very strange. Anyway, just putting that out there. We'll get to the bottom of it. Here's what we have also. 2 threads you guys got to know about, because they're going to be for upcoming shows. Baby births in strange places. Now, I was thinking that this might be good for Friday night's show with Lauren as well, because babies, love, families, all that stuff. But I think it actually just may be, way too much stuff to put into 2 hours. So I might save this for next week. We already have some great responses, not only on quitefrankly.tv, but on the mirrored thread that I put in the Twitter community, the X community. Go and check that out on my Twitter page. It's like the community is pinned to the top. So we already have great stuff in here. And yeah, but this is something, this next one we are definitely going to be doing either next week or the week after. And that is positive celebrity interactions or encounters, memorable moments with public figures that you ran into them personally. Okay. And it's all based on that old saying over here. That something goes like it goes something like, never meet your heroes because you'll always be disappointed. About, somebody you idolize as a kid or something, you go up to shake their hand and they are just a real cold ass, But like I said in this thread over here, as popular as that quote is, I also hear really wonderful, uplifting stories about run-ins with childhood heroes or just gracious public figures that just were shockingly positive and nice and all that. And I want to hear. I know that we've already had a lot of you call in over the years to talk about cool people you ran into in unsuspecting places. Well, what about movie stars and politicians and athletes, artists of all stripes? I know that Zoso dude, he lived in that world. He was having nice encounters all the time. But what about you guys and gals? So those are two things. Go check them out. They are on the forum, pinned to the top, and they're also now mirrored on the Twitter community on my page. So you can go check that out there later too. All right, first one up. And I'm just going to leave the phone line on. 914-200-0269. Take a look at this. This is bad. One of Elon Musk's DOGE staffers used to sell ketamine professionally. First person I thought of was Kathy O'Brien. What did she tell us about Washington, D.C.? The only party lines in D.C. are cocaine lines. These are the same people who are dismissing Bobby Kennedy because he was using heroin when he was younger. And meanwhile, we just had a gender-confused man at HHS and kleptomaniacs who are cross-dressers at DHS. I don't know where the hell they all were. You remember the gay Satanist stripper that was made the monkeypox czar? But one of Elon Musk's DOGE staffers used to sell ketamine professionally. Good gosh. The last president's crackhead son, by the way, was sitting in on top secret staff meetings with no security clearance. Well then. As the staff of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency makes headlines for moving fast and breaking things, a deeper look into their backgrounds reveals that one used to hawk a drug the billionaire has history of using. As the Washington Post reports, 36-year-old DOGE lackey Alexandra Bainan previously spent her days as the head of engineering at the online ketamine therapy company MindBloom before making a new gig in the middle of the Department of Education. So what? Most people at the Department of Education aren't educators. Why can't an engineer at a ketamine factory go to the DOJ? Probably more qualified. That's what I'm talking about. This is hilarious. This is hilarious to me. I'm so happy that funny things are happening. If there's anything that you could just be happy about, it's that funny things are happening. Some of it might not be constitutional, but at least it's funny. Let's see. Co-founded by DOGE engineer's husband, Dylan Bainan, in 2018, MindBloom bills itself as offering a guided at-home ketamine therapy to transform your mental health. This is something that we have to talk about, actually. And I have a couple of people who would love to come. I know that, actually, Justin from Yes Cacao, been talking to him. I said, listen, whenever we have a psychedelic night, you've got to be a part of it. I know Jane Barlow wanted to talk about psychedelics because psychedelics is in the new, there's a whole new chapter in her book for that. But this has been in the news a lot more lately, and it's not just about psilocybin and mushrooms, of course, cannabis, that are used to help treat and break the back of depression, PTSD, things like that. We've talked about things like kratom in the past and different ideas that people have on that and whether it should be legal, whatever. So there's a lot of stuff going on out there, but ketamine is a big part of it. Now, when I was growing up, ketamine, we start hearing about Special K, like it's animal tranquilizer. It's like angel dust or something like that. You just trip all over the place. And when I heard about ketamine from an actual medicinal standpoint that goes beyond just treatment of pain, but also in microdosing and things like that, where most people would say this transform your mental health aspect, a guided at home, it actually would be considered by many people a very, very legitimate business with very legitimate health promoting, I guess you could say, attributes. And anyway, I want to jump into that because I just come from a jokey, Special K, take a bump kind of a background on this whole thing, and I never touched it. But now it's becoming a serious contender, and it's talked about very seriously. It's not just like this grungy drug for recreational purposes. So that'll be on the psychedelic night. This next one up is from Gizmodo, so it's written just as breathlessly. Headline, I regret to inform you that a 19-year-old DOGE stooge named Big Balls is now advising the State Department. This was published today, the 11th of February, 2025. Well, first of all, don't apologize, Lucas Ropek, because anyone who knows anything about the real world knows that a 19-year-old named Big Balls advising at State is a major upgrade. I would take Big Balls over Victoria Nuland and her mashed potato face. Sorry. I regret to it. This is a headline. This is a headline. Okay? It's a letter in itself. Few developments better typify the unique insanity of the current political movement than the ascent of Big Balls, a 19-year-old software engineer who briefly worked at Elon Musk's brain startup Neuralink. Got recruited to the billionaire's government deconstructionist effort, DOGE. I would say government restoration effort. And now, but you can call it deconstruction, but you're not deconstructing the actual government. You're deconstructing this Death Star that was built on top of it. And now, in a twist so ridiculous, it seems like it was stolen straight out of South Park, he has apparently been hired as senior advisor to the U.S. State Department. Good. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. No doubt about it. In reality, Big Balls is Edward Corsetine, a high-achieving tech wonderkind, and the large testicle-eluding honorific is merely his online username. The Washington Post reports that Corsetine, who is also a staffer at DOGE, was recently assigned to the State Department's Bureau of Diplomatic Technology. It's unclear what Corsetine, who only recently graduated from high school, will be doing at America's diplomatic hub, but it understandably seems to have rattled senior officials at the agency. Oh, you know what it is? It's just that he has no connections to any lobbyists. Okay? There are plenty of 19-year-olds in this country who are light years smarter than our current crop of representatives across the board. Light years smarter, no doubt about it. So that's number one. And you can say, oh, well, you know, it's undue influence just because he's working for Elon Musk. So perhaps he's not getting his palms greased by some lobbyist out there like all of Congress is. But he is loyal to Musk. Well, he's one of Musk's guys. Yeah, I guess so. He got recruited. But at this point, you're running on just your whole life is unfolding before you. You're talented in some way, obviously. And this, I mean, you're how much money, if you're 19 years old and you're in his position, how much money are you requesting to get paid? Are you even thinking about money? If I was that talented, whatever the hell he's doing that he got latched on to Elon Musk, and he's working at Neuralink. Now, I am very skeptical of 95% or more of what's going on at Neuralink. I would love to see technology give quadriplegics the ability to walk again. I would love to see that. But we know that the bigger picture is some ridiculous singularity vision. Either way, we're talking about technology that is insanely advanced, and the fact that this kid is coming from Neuralink already at 19 and has been given this opportunity, he must be a top performer. But if you're that talented in whatever you're doing at 19, how much are you asking for? Because honestly, I would undercut I wouldn't even care. I really wouldn't even care. If I can just pay for my cell phone bill, if I can get myself a car, and if I can just, I don't know, just be paid. I would just be so happy. I would be running on pure the hormones. It would just be hormones and coffee and excitement that your life is just like blooming before you, as far as the opportunities goes and things you're doing. That's a big opportunity. Whatever the hell you're doing, if you're doing it in Washington, D.C. at the White House, it's a very big opportunity. Who you are inside and what your greater aspirations are, good, indifferent, or evil, is something else. But it's definitely a big opportunity. How much would you ask for? I'd maybe ask for I wouldn't even ask for anything. I would just say, hey, whatever you think is fair. Whatever you think is fair. Let's just get to work. Oh, man. That's pretty interesting right there. Interesting position to be in. So, of course, I'm 20 years his senior. Holy shit. That's crazy. Well, he'll be my age soon, and I'll still be 40. He'll catch up. They're all catching up. That's what I'm telling myself. All right, let's see here. Understandably seem to have rattled the officials at the agency. The Post notes that for some reason a government directory also lists Coristine as working for USAID, the international aid agency that Musk has all but shut down in the span of a week. This is what I'm talking about again. Now, USAID, a lot of that and every other NGO or government organization that is going to continue to be completely picked apart. And no matter what the hell the situation is, every penny that has ever flowed through USAID since JFK created it should never have been. But everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. Because think about, again, last night when we were talking about with Chris Ann Hall, the culture by the 1960s. I mean, the culture was already, I mean, foreign aid, everything. That's it. We were already on that trajectory. So this seemed like a great idea. Now, USAID has fed plenty of hungry children around the world. They've actually, money from US aid has certainly put food in the hands of the hungry. It has also been used to promote atheism in Nepal. And whether it's good, whether it's some gray thing area, so whether it's completely used for evil, it should have never have been. Should have never have been. But, you know, it's also not like, oh, well, he was at USAID. So that's not like being on the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs or something like that. It's all over the place. You remember, I reached out to this guy. Do you remember Matthew Lesko? I think he's still out there. He's probably like in his 70s now. He was the guy that used to have all of the infomercials about grant money out there. He wore the Riddler suit. He had the jacket with the question marks all over it. And he had those books that he was putting out, and he had infomercials and all that stuff. Call me now. That's Miss Cleo. Call me now. But Matthew Lesko was the grant guy. And it's a lot of that probably was USAID as well as many other places. You want to talk, and he's trying to tell us back in the 90s, and we probably all thought, oh, this is bullshit. We probably could have been millionaires. Every last one of us could have been millionaires. Out of the trillions that have flowed through there, so many of us could have tapped into that shit and built ourselves a small radio station or something. Reach out and say, hey, I got an idea for a radio station or a small newspaper or something like that. Get $25,000 in seed money. Oh, man. Everybody probably thought he was bullshitting. But anyway, big balls. He came out of there, and I don't know how he went to Neuralink from USAID, unless that was a high school, some kind of a high school internship. But that's nutty, man. Pretty good stuff. And then here's another thing I have. What is this? Dana Bash. And now you guys call in 914-200-0269, 914-200-0269. Just let me know what's on your mind. Drop us a call. Give a shout out, whatever the hell it is. Elon Musk, for a couple of minutes, called or renamed himself on Twitter Harry Balls. And Dana Bash actually had to, well, I don't know if she had to. I think she willingly did this. Went on CNN Live and reported on it. And I again, I think it's pretty remarkable.
Now, the disruptor-in-chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Harry Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge."
Yeah, it's true. He's not a real judge. Yeah, no doubt about it. But he has a new alias. Now it's already going. Harry Balls. Good work today, Dana. Good work. Rolling around in the mud with the rest of us. Fantastic. All the bloom has come off that rose. Couldn't be happier. All right, 914-200-0269. Give me a buzz. I want to see what you guys are thinking. The rest of the night, we're just going to be weaving you guys into and out of the episode. And while you are dialing up, I got Chuck Schumer over here. This was yesterday, and I had not seen it. And it's something to behold. I don't know. Again, here's another theory for you. When Chuck Schumer says, "I'm calling on our brave public servants. I'm launching a new portal for anyone who wants to expose corruption, abuses of power, and threats to public safety with the legal protections of being a whistleblower." He's trying to recruit whistleblowers. Okay? Now, we've seen this God knows how many times with the whistleblowing and all that stuff. He has set up a new portal for people to expose corruption, I guess just to write whatever the hell you want down, be as sensationalist as you want, write something terrible down, and you're going to get legal protections of the whistleblower. And we know from 2019 that hearsay, fourth-hand sources of information is 100% applicable, and you will be afforded every protection that Chuck Schumer and his friends can give you. Let's take a call from Jules. How are you, Jules?
Hey, Frank. I'm calling you from snowy Maryland.
Oh, wow. So is that coming up by our way?
I think it's supposed to come up your way. It started like south of me, and it was supposed to start about 11 o'clock this morning, and people were like, "Oh, how bad's the snow?" I was like, it's not snowing here. But it did start about 5 o'clock, and I'd say we've got a couple of inches, but I don't know. I don't pay attention to it. But I had 3 stories for you, so can I go real quick? I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Go ahead.
Okay, regarding the postage, you and Lauren sent me something, and it was in a square envelope. It wasn't the usual size, and there was a thing marked on it that said postage due on it. I'm assuming that it was just a few pennies or whatnot, because otherwise they probably wouldn't have, just put it in my box. But so that just, like if it's an oversized or a different size letter than like just a regular card or a regular letter. So I did get that one time. I was like, oh, let me just tell him that.
Wait. So Lauren, when because we've sent each other mail now, back and forth like so many other people out there for years now. You're telling me that one time we sent you a package that was a little bit bigger than usual, and you got charged a couple of pennies or something?
No, you sent a thank you card back,
okay,
and it had some of the stickers in it, like a bookmark. It was very sweet. But the envelope that had the card in it, it was like a complete square. Like every side was the same size, and there was a handwritten note on it that said postage due, but they didn't ask me for anything. So, and what I was going to do was going to take it to the post office and say what would be the extra, and then I was going to call you guys. And it kind of just flew right out of my mind, so I forgot about it.
We try to slap as much, if it doesn't look like a regular letter, if it has even one extra slide of paper in there that we always put extra stamps on it just so it doesn't have any problems. I don't know. I'm learning weird things today, but keep going. Second story.
Okay, second story is a monkey story. I worked out at Washington Dulles Airport, and there was a monkey coming in on the plane that had to go to the Washington City Zoo. And so everybody's kind of like, look, this is really, we saw all sorts of weird stuff. But anyway, so the guys went down there, the ramp guys. He opened up the door, and right in front of the big cargo door was the monkey cage, and it was empty. And the guy immediately slammed it shut because we knew, okay, they put a monkey on in Dallas. It came here, didn't go anywhere else.
Oh, no.
Yes. And so he was loose in the baggage. You could hear him throwing bags and grunting. And
how big is the monkey?
It was like, I can't remember. Gosh, that's like 20 years ago.
Is it the kind of monkey that can sit on your shoulder?
No. Oh God, no.
No,
bigger. Like on the French show. No. This is a regular monkey. I don't know if you would. I don't want to say gorilla.
No way.
Because I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, because it was only. It was not that type of an aircraft that could take something that big. But the ramp guy who slammed the door shut, they were just like so thankful because, if we'd had some other idiot open it up, they'd open it and go, oh, well, I wonder where the monkey is. And the monkey comes tearing up, from the back of the plane and hops out the door.
Did they get the monkey?
They finally did. But what happened was, and so few people think about this, they think, oh, that's the whole story. No, every single person on that plane then wasn't getting any luggage because we had to wait for the zoo people to send a doctor, like a veterinarian.
These damn monkeys.
With a tranquilizer shot. So we had to wait for him coming up in rush hour traffic from the city. And so we had to take like 100 lost bag claims.
So there you go. Another monkey ruining everybody's day. What's your third story?
Third one is, remember the mother on the Partridge Family and the mother on the Brady Bunch?
The mother on the Brady Bunch, yes.
Yeah, they played the mothers. Like you were talking about how, if you've seen somebody. My cousin was a flight attendant for Delta, and those ladies were on her planes a lot. And she said you would think that they're both on shows with, kids and whatnot, that they'd really love kids. And she said, not at all. She said they would, if she had one on, they're like, can't you keep that child over there quiet? Because it was up in first class and,
Well, I guess when you put so much effort into being overly joyous, you're just going to have to even it out with a little bit more grumpiness afterwards, because all those television moms back then were just always walking on cloud nine and always had it together. Yep. But we know it's not that easy. So anyway,
we know what it's like behind the real door. But so I just wanted to send those stories their way, and we'll stay in touch.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for the call, Jules. It was great spending some time with you.
Thanks, Frank. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. See you later. 914-200-0269. Let's take a call. 413. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. How you doing?
I'm all right. Who's this?
Are you there?
Yeah, who's this?
Gooden from Massachusetts.
Gooden?
Sorry?
Gooden? Your name is...
from Massachusetts. Am I breaking up?
No. You're just listening to the show when it has to be turned off.
Okay, I know. I had to leave the room. Okay,
so you said your name is Gooden?
Graydon.
Great. Are you originally from Massachusetts?
No. Maine. Maine. Full family name.
Got you. Okay. Well, so you're a New Englander through and through.
Yep.
Okay. So
three quick things. Okay.
Go ahead.
Three quick things for you. One, Chris Ann Hall for Supreme Court.
Yes, please.
Yes, I think that'd be wonderful.
Well, actually, here's one thing. I understand right there with the Supreme Court. You can say, well, that's a lifetime appointment, and Chris Ann is young and fiery, and she would be educating the public, even if she was in the minority. She would be educating the public with a very, very big spotlight on her for decades to come. So I guess that in itself is the reason why I would like to see her at Supreme Court. But man, wouldn't she be something as like the head of the DOJ or something? That'd be something else.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she'd be educating the other judges because a lot of them don't know what we're talking about, apparently.
Oh, they know. They're avoiding it like the plague.
Well, true. They know, but they don't want to
do
what they're supposed to do. Other quickie, to quote the cutest young lady on alternate media, I hate this show.
Me too.
And whatever happened to Rude Tuesdays?
Oh, I still have it over here. I'm gonna do, and I still here. Look, I still have the 10. I still have the countdown. So I'm going to bring back Rude Tuesday as well. I'm going to slip it in there on days that we're going to have like call-in days. I'd love to do Rude Tuesday on one of those call-in shows that I want to start making a weekly thing, so we have more flexibility in the broadcast week. So don't worry. I really like the concept of Rude Tuesday, and I want to mix it in more.
Okay, because I have a joke. I'll wait for that.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Well, thanks for the call. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, later. See how easy that is? You just call in. I was thinking about Rude Tuesday the other day, and I'll tell you, once I thought about it, I don't know what I was doing, just something that my mind was going. I was doing something physical. So I was either outside and shoveling snow or whatever the hell it was, but something that I think it was snow shoveling. And it was just, one of those things, you're in monotonous motion and whatever, so your mind can kind of just go somewhere else while your body just takes over on autopilot. I like those times. You get a lot done there. And I was thinking about Rude Tuesday. And I was taking calls, imaginary calls in my head, giving people 10 seconds, and then coming up with really funny insults as I hung up. Click, or... I have them all written down. I'm not going to give them to you right now. I'm just going to drop them on you. So that'll be fun. Rude Tuesday will be for the thick-skinned to call in. And it'll be a good skin-thickening exercise. Let's go. 407, hello.
Hey, how's it going? You talking about Elon Musk. Have you heard that he was under investigation by USAID Inspector General?
He was under investigation?
Yeah, so a buddy of mine, he just hit me up, and apparently there's a Newsweek article. USAID Inspector General was investigating Starlink, and the timing of it was suspicious because it was right around the time where Musk started to join forces with Trump during the campaign.
Okay.
There was some spurious stuff in the article, the Newsweek article. It wasn't really informational, but I didn't know if you or anybody else had heard about that.
I had not. This is the first time, and I would say that it would be super super interesting timing if it was after the election, and maybe before the inauguration, because then it becomes a lot more obvious that at the very least you can say, well, this is all retaliation. But it's not. You can't even say it's retaliation because it's across the board. It's Elon Musk has been charged with looking
line in the other direction.
Exactly.
Say that he went after USAID because he was being investigated.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's something if you're thinking in the way that they do, where they're never actually thinking about how to preserve American the American civic life for citizens, and they're always ever thinking about how to manage their business and how to keep everything that they have built for themselves on our backs over here in line for themselves. So instead of actually doing something worth doing, they're probably watching the campaign and thinking about how they can put up little roadblocks along the way, or building predicate for an alibi 3 months down the line. We opened up an investigation into him last year because of dirty dealings or some kind of suspicious activity. And this is the way that I'm not saying that that's what they're doing now, but this is the way that they do operate with most things. They get to the story first, they create all their narratives, and then you have to deal with it on defense.
Yeah, I was laughing at my buddy because he was trying to throw rocks, and I thought, it's funny that the Inspector General of USAID all of a sudden cares about integrity and making sure that the contracts are fulfilled. I guess, all of a sudden they care about it. It's like all this stuff that's coming out, it's a giant slush fund for whoever's got the hookup at the government, and all their little programs and side gigs and kickbacks, and they want to focus on this dude all of a sudden. I just thought that was interesting.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah. Well, they are cold and calculating. Thank you for the call, Derek. They're cold and calculating when it comes to the bureaucracy. I mean, look at what Chuck Schumer's doing again. I'm calling on our brave public servants saying, come, friends, say the worst things you can come up with. I'm launching a new portal for anyone who wants to expose corruption, abuses of power, and threats to public safety, which of course means anybody who's going to break apart or impede on the corruption that we have been able to suckle upon for generations. That's theirs. They earned it. 317, go ahead.
Hey, I was just thinking about you're talking about speaking in tongues, like I think it was on Friday.
Yes, and I actually have notes building on that. I want to do that a little bit more tomorrow, but if you have something you want to say, go right ahead.
Well, just my personal experience. So I grew up in the church and several different churches, but I was at a particular service where there was some guy that was there that was kind of encouraging people to speak in tongues and kind of trying to make it happen. I went down to the altar. This is my personal experience. And I was really seeking out, like I want to touch God, I want to touch Holy Spirit, right? And this guy, he starts basically telling everybody at the altar, just start talking, just start speaking gibberish. Like it was so fake. It was so fucking fake. And I'm like, that's not what this is supposed to be. So I agree with you that chick, that's somehow she's Trump's, spiritual whatever.
Yeah, leader.
That video. Oh, gee. All right. So that video, that chick was absolutely 100% fake. I have been in services. I'm not super spiritual now or super churchy now, but I have been in services where I felt like that the spirit was moving, and it may have been a thing, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's up to everybody to figure that out. But I was watching that. I was rewatching that because I typically watch your show after the fact, and I was like, damn, I should have called. I wish I'd watched it live. I would call, but that's my 2 cents.
Well, let me get here. Take a listen to this. This is an email from Christina. Okay, she's in Washington State. And she said, Frank, I tried calling into the show tonight because I wanted to tell you about my experience with going to a church that spoke in tongues regularly. I didn't get home until about 10 minutes before the show was over, so I think it was too late to call in, but I wanted to tell you about it. I went to a non-denominational church called, I won't say it because I don't know if that'll give her away where she is, somewhere in 2003. I was a member for a year or so, and a lot of people in the church spoke in tongues. They told me that it was evidence that the Holy Spirit was within you, and that if you weren't able to speak in tongues, the Holy Spirit wasn't with you. One day, they called me up to the altar and laid hands on me to give me the Holy Spirit, and I had to pretend to speak in tongues in front of the entire church because I was afraid that the Holy Spirit wasn't really with me. I know better now, but I thought you might find that take interesting. I find that the least surprising. I believe that probably most people feel compelled to just jiggle and shake. I really do.
Play along. They're going to play along because you want the Holy Spirit. I mean, if that's why you're at church, right? Mm-hmm. You want that, and they're it's just not real. I mean, I know that there's probably times that it's been real, but I will tell you 100% that particular instance, this guy was a bullshitter. And it's like you're in the front of a church, in front of a congregation, and you're encouraging quietly, by the way, like the rest of the congregation doesn't know, but the people at the altar, he's telling them to bullshit. And I'm like, that is 100% false, man.
I know. Well, you know what? Yeah, oh man, you said a lot of things there, and this is going to come up again soon because I got a lot of great emails from people who had similar things happen to them, but also sent really great insight into what the Bible says about the speaking in tongues. Thank you for the call, Thad.
All right, man. Have a good night, Frank. I love your show. Oh, I'm sorry. I hate your show.
Thank you. I was going to say, are you sure about that? Okay.
I hate your show.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Take care. I'm telling you, it's like the Typo Negative Live album, the You Suck chant. It's happened. Thank you, Aurora. Yeah, I I would love to see two people speaking in tongues to speak to each other. Like if two people are speaking in tongues. Say, I just did it. If two people are speaking in tongues, that's the same Holy Spirit, is it not? So you should be able to talk to each other and be able to convey very complex messages to each other. You would think. You would think that would be possible. But, and I love investigating and learning more and more about spiritual possession. And to be to be possessed and be a vessel and a conduit for the Holy Spirit is something that sounds incredible. And I get close to that peace and to that thrill. You remember we were talking about the in-between place? It was last Easter we were talking about that kind of rush that you get when you stand next to a rushing body of water, like there's a waterfall, or even your bathroom, shower or something like that, where you're not in the spray zone, but there's just something in the air that puts goosebumps on your skin. And in that space, you almost feel like you're in between worlds. I mean, there's all different types of things where I feel it would be a true conduit for the Holy Spirit, and feeling that and just training yourself to latch onto it and always have it have a connection there. Of course, everybody falls off and you got to work back, and we're flawed and we get distracted and all that shit. But so I'm not in any way doubting our ability to be conduits for all types of things, good and evil, holy and evil. But there's just something very obviously performative about most of this stuff that I see. And I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. That's why I want to talk to the people who have had it happen to them and in very specific circumstances. And I can see somebody say, hey, listen, you got to start talking. Everybody start jittering right now. And then the whole congregation goes up in celebration. Anyway, okay. Let's go and take a really quick break. It's 8 o'clock. When we come back from the intermission, more of your calls. We have the secret code names of 8 presidents and their first ladies. We've got NASA makes an emergency decision, changing the probabilities of impact with this city-destroying asteroid that's coming our way in a few years. So I'm going to toss you a couple more things to talk about, and you can comment on them or continue to call in open line style and just drop anything in my lap. We'll be right back.
Quite frankly, he's amazing.
Jay Britz, thank you so much. This is the kind of formats I really love, especially when you guys show up to hang out with me. There's nothing beats it. Get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Everybody has a chance to mix it up, stir the pot. Stowstube, thank you. Hello to you. Good evening to you. It's great to have you all over there in Massachusetts. All right, let's see. Are we live on Rumble? We are. Are there any Rumble rants? I hope I didn't miss any because of all the restart weird stuff. Anyway, Rumble rants, I'll come back around to you guys. On Quite Frankly.tv, Homegoy says, my best encounter was with... Hey, we're not skipping. Homegoy, get that in the thread. I want it all in that thread for best celebrity public figure encounters. Definitely want to do that. Like, for example, imagine you're that guy. I know we all got to see it. It was on the internet. But that guy, where was it, in Mexico or something? Who was at the convenience store and Mel Gibson is changing a tire out there and he's talking to Mel Gibson. I mean, have you ever been like next to a celebrity, Clint Eastwood, at a urinal or something like that? Like, what happened? Somebody out there has stories like that. Let's go. And you also have not weird baby birthplaces stories. I know you do. I know some of you couldn't get to the hospital in time. I know that some of you have stories about your own birth. Were you born on a sidewalk somewhere? Were you born at Six Flags Great Adventure? what the hell happened. I know that you're out there. Don't leave your story. Don't let it go to waste. We need it. All right, let's see. K-Jusps, thank you for that. Patriot Game, thank you. Sean Joe. Brew Bark says, still holding my breath and resubscription for a Paul Wallace, the Fifth Kind interview. Paul Wallace interview. Well, send me something, Brewbark. Send me in. I'm always taking guest suggestions. I found a lot of great guests through this audience. So send me something about Paul Wallace, please. And Sean Joe, again, at the end, thank you so much for your for everything. All right, let's take a really quick call. 302, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hi there, Frank.
Hey.
I would like to venge for Rhonda from last night and all the so-called, you said, uneducated people about the maritime admirably laws. I have a little bit to say about that, if that's okay.
Uneducated people?
Yes, you called Rhonda and everybody that thinks dropping citizenship from the United States Corporation of America is uneducated.
I said
and I have a little bit of...
I said it was uneducated? I really used those words? I don't think I did.
You did.
Okay, you got to get me a timestamp because that sounds incredible.
It was last night after Rhonda called.
I remember Rhonda's call. Okay, well, you go ahead and say what you got to say.
Okay. So the U.S. Constitution is law of the land. That does not apply to the United States Corporation of America.
Right.
Operating under the maritime laws is underwater, not land itself. The first step to allowing the bankers, foreign entities, to manipulate our republic laws to benefit them, just like during the Revolutionary War, we were flooded with British and foreign currency to devalue our currency. We are now flooded with foreign goods. This allowed the Federal Reserve to rewrite the current laws. Monopolies and private investors, the bankers, were no longer restricted from purchasing private property, homes, businesses. Enter BlackRock Vanguard mindset. Remember Edward Lewis in Pretty Woman? What did he do in that movie? He bought the companies and he sells off the parts. That's what's happening to America. She was not wrong. America is a corporation in bankruptcy. We have been purchased and private investors are selling off parts as investments. It's not just homes like in 2008 or businesses like in 2020. They are now purchasing cities and states. You keep asking the same questions. Why is everything being bought? Why is everything being sold off? It's the private investors are purchasing states and rezoning them and renting them back to us, the plebs, the slaves, the employees. Why does that matter? Why is it all empty? Rezoning, private ownership.
I get it.
Happening.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is that there are a number of ways that a country can have all of its domestic civic interests be offloaded into supranational corporate conglomerates control than saying that there is a duplicate government that has been so now that you put all that out there, I remember what I said last night. I said that that is it. The first step to destroying our country is really the destruction of our education. It is a lack of education, not on our caller last night, Rhonda's hand. I'm talking about us. This is not something that happened in the last 50 years, as you're talking about. We're talking about 19th century. So from there, Chris Ann Hall would say that that around 1830 is where we lost real control of where this country was, because that is where the way that that civic government is supposed to work in the United States was started to become changed in the way that it was taught to students of law in this country.
Well, it was actually 1816. It was actually prior to 1868. Americans were sovereign. The United States corporation was established where people were not in we are become the employee, not the citizen.
I get you. I just brought you back to 1830. So it's 30 years prior to that. But thank you for the call, and I get what you're saying. I didn't call Rhonda uneducated. Just saying that there's what we're dealing with right now is because we're operating under a new set of laws. No, it doesn't. New laws are put into place all the time. New regulations are put into place all the time. They're not as consequential as some other things, as some other acts of the past. But the whole point is that American civic, our understanding of American civics for the average person has been slowly whittled away for a long time. And as Chrisanne Hall has brought up on this show in the past, when you go back to, 30 years prior to the Civil War, the way that American civics is applied in the legal professions, or how judges are churned out in this country, was significantly altered. And whenever you have lawyers and judges who start seeing things in different ways, and the Constitution and civil liberties is actually deprioritized, then it's a free for all. We've done so many shows on maritime law, and is the so and so making a speech with the flag with the gold fringe behind him, or if it's not gold fringe, and is it this? It could be anything at that point. You look at us now. It's an absolute free for all. Nobody knows which way's up. That's all I'm saying. That is when you take the people out of it through deliberately destroyed education, then it doesn't matter if it's 1871 Organic Act or whatever thing that you are really saying this is what needs to be addressed. No, what needs to be addressed is American education. They can't overcome us if we understand what's going on and we say no. Because if we understand what's going on, then all of those, what seems to be a pipe dream, I understand. All those things we were talking about with Chrisanne Hall last night about state-level nullification of the federal government and taking control of our lives by taking control of our states, because the federal government has very few supremacy powers over the states, even though they want you to think the opposite. Because thinking the opposite is what gives them all the power. It's largely an educational issue. Education, that it becomes the basis of the culture. So I'm going to go back and listen to the way I worded that last night. If I called Rhonda uneducated, I will apologize, because I would never. That doesn't sound like me to just say that to somebody, especially when she was totally polite with me. So I will apologize. But I think I was speaking a little bit more generally, and it wasn't a personal attack. I'll like I said, I'll go back and listen. I'm nervous now. Like, did I go unconscious or something? Anyway, let's take another call, and then we'll get to this Secret Service code names. 732, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frankie. What's up, man? Jack.
Hey, Jack. How are you?
Good. You were talking about like chance encounters with celebrities and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I said that is a thread that we are building for a show I'd like to do either next week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a good one.
It's a really good encounter.
Yeah, me and my wife were in Elizabeth, New
Jersey. Wait, no. I don't want. Save the details, but just I don't know. Do I even want to know who the person is? I was going to say save me the details, but just tell me who the person is. Okay.
How about I'll email you the whole gig. It's funny as hell. You'll love it.
Okay. Well. Okay.
But anyway, good talking to you.
Well, is there anything else you want to say? I'd just like to have all those stories on one night.
Yeah, well, I got a bunch of them. I'll send them to you. I used to work at PNC Art Center. I used to cook backstage.
Oh,
and I met a lot of people. And like Coldplay was the biggest assholes I ever met. And that's a great story in itself.
Coldplay were the biggest assholes you met?
Oh, entirely. And I've met Jackson Brown, James Taylor, Stevie Nicks, you name it. I've cooked for Elvis Costello, you name it.
I really enjoyed. I never had a bad time at PNC Bank Arts Center. Where I saw, I forget who we saw. Definitely went to an Ozfest there. But
Oh yeah, I did like 8 of them.
oh yeah, we've been there, but we were there for a few other concerts as well. I think Shinedown, I think Avenged Sevenfold. I forget.
Yeah, I mean Bruce Dickinson. I talked with him, and yeah, a bunch of people.
Okay.
Iron Maiden, you name it.
Well, that's yeah. Well, I think we saw Iron Maiden. No. We didn't see Iron Maiden at Ozfest. We just saw Iron Maiden in Brooklyn. Well, anyway.
Yeah, they had their own show with a couple of different, I think Primus or somebody else, but yeah, pretty
All right.
cool shit.
Well, then if you got that kind of a job for so long, that I can't wait to hear what the best interaction was, because obviously
there's crazy ones.
Good.
I'll definitely get in touch with you and let you know.
All right, great. It won't be too long, my friend. I won't let you wait too long. We'll just do it in one night.
You got it, buddy.
All right, take care. All right, here we go. A little bit over here, just real quick. Thought you guys would like this. By Krista Roman. This was all available, ladies and gentlemen, on the latest bulletin that you can find right there on quitefrankly.tv. You go to the articles, it drops down, and you can go to newsletter archives. And you can read them all, including the latest one. But the latest one is always linked in the description of this of the episode. So whatever the latest one is, it's linked there. Secret Service names of 8 presidents and their first ladies. It all starts, let's see, in the wake of a post-Civil War America, the Secret Service was originally formed as a branch of the U.S. Treasury Department. Its responsibilities include defending the nation against rampant counterfeiting, which was a major threat to the country's financial stability. This is all changed in 1901 after the assassination of President William McKinley. The Secret Service was assigned a new role, protecting the president as well as high-ranking political leaders and visiting foreign dignitaries. One of the more intriguing aspects of the Secret Service is the use of code names given the president, vice president, and their family members. As communication technology advanced through the 20th century, it became necessary for agents to use coded names to preserve leaders' anonymity. In 1945, Harry S. Truman, referred to as General, became the first president to be given an official code name, although at least 2 prior first ladies received monikers of their own. The following are 8 first couples and their meaning behind each. Okay? So, JFK and Jackie. John Kennedy was Lancer, and Jacqueline was Lace. Did you know that? Some of you did. The Kennedys all shared first initial of L for their Secret Service code name, Lancer. Was bestowed upon President Kennedy in reference to Camelot, presumably as a nod to Sir Lancelot, while Lace was given to First Lady Jackie Kennedy due to her elegance. Most first families share the same first initial for their official code names. Once someone is assigned Secret Service protection, they choose their code name from an approved list of names provided by the White House Communications Agency. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, they choose their names. Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter was Deacon and Dancer. Jimmy Carter's code name was Deacon, reflected his strong religious faith, while Dancer simply echoed Rosalind's love for dancing. Okay. That's it. Married 77 years. Ronald Reagan. Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan. Rainbow and Rawhide. Before taking the role as Commander-in-Chief, Ronald Reagan was a Hollywood actor. The actor? Starring in many Western films, Rawhide made for an appropriate choice, whereas the original of Rainbow is less certain for First Lady Nancy Reagan. One biographer suggests it referred to her colorful personality. Nancy Reagan was fond of New Age practices such as metaphysics and often enlisted the guidance of professional astrologers during her time in the White House. Oh, here they are, the king and queen themselves. Bill and Hillary Clinton. Eagle and Evergreen. Everybody knows Evergreen. The big tanker that got stuck in the Suez. The Secret Service designation for President Clinton is in reference to his time as an Eagle Scout. Oh, the best of the best, wasn't he? Hillary's code name of Evergreen seems less apparent, but pants suitably. It's the former First Lady continued to use the name during her own 2008 and 2016 presidential campaigns. It's tradition at that point. George W. and Laura Bush, Trailblazer and Tempo. That's an interesting name for her, Tempo. President George W. Bush went by Tumbler when his father, George H.W. Bush, Timberwolf, was president. But when W entered office in 2001, ironically enough, the Nepo baby decided to be called Trailblazer, which is just so ironic because he's like, well, then again, he did blaze a few trails. At least was a part of it in some way. First Lady Laura Bush, regarded for her soft-spoken and private nature, was called Tempo. Actually, pretty nice name. And then you have Barack and Michelle. There they are. Barack Obama and Michelle, Renegade and Renaissance. When given a list, Renaissance. When a list of code names starting with the letter R, President Obama notably chose Renegade, defined as someone who is a traitor or betrays their country. First Lady Michelle Obama opted for Renaissance, reportedly a reflection of her desire to redefine the traditional role of the First Lady. Yes. And then we have the Masked Bandits, Joe and Jill. You just to go from all of these years, the Bushes, the Obamas, the Clintons, and then all of a sudden, there's the Bidens with the masks, 3/4 the size of their faces. What the hell happened to us? If you were like, you went to bed for a couple of years, you woke up, said, this timeline, what? Capri and Celtic, or Celtic. That's it. Jill Biden was Capri. And Celtic was Joe Biden's. I had no clue. Now, Donald Trump and Melania is Mogul and Muse, which I think is also very fitting. President Trump, recognized around the world as a real estate magnate, reality television star, and esteemed entrepreneur, appropriately chose the Secret Service's code name Mogul. First Lady Melania Trump, a former high fashion model, fittingly selected Muse. Well, there you go. Mogul and Muse doing their thing. So, and then Krista asks at the end, if you and your spouse were president and first lady, which Secret Service code names would you choose? Do you have a favorite name from the list above? Let us know in the comments below. Well, I like Mogul and Muse. I like Laura Bush's Tempo. For some reason, I like Tempo. That's a good code name. But that would be cool. I mean, hey, listen, we got 40 minutes left. It's open lines. When you call in, if you'd like to offer us up, what 2 Secret Service code names would you choose for your wife or your husband, your partner, your girlfriend, boyfriend? I don't know what your marital status is over there. Let me know. What are your code names? We'll be right back in a flash.
Yes, so this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online, so that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside DOGE. And we looked into his background. And so we found, several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
Had a friend, you looking for a message board? Go to quitefrankly.tv and enter the forum. Engage with official show topic threads or start your own thread. Get signed up. It's that easy. And it's not Reddit, so don't sweat it. For the forum and then so much more, it's quitefrankly.tv. Yeehaw.
Everything happens to me. I think I'm cursed.
If you think your life is jinxed, now you can change it with E. David Scott's Curse Removal. Call this number and follow simple instructions. Positive forces instantly cast away the evil spirits that bring you bad luck. $1.95 per minute for entertainment only. Under 18 get permission. Call now and remove the jinx from your life.
It's ringing. Hey man, do you have a second to talk? I was just calling to let you know that I'm giving up.
Wait, like on your career and future and everything? Or?
Yeah, dude, everything. I'm just gonna expect the worst in all aspects of my life from here on out.
Oh my god. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. You're like the first person I've told. I knew you'd want to know because you've just been encouraging me to throw in the towel for so long.
I'm glad you're telling me right now. That means a lot.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, it still doesn't feel real.
Honestly, we were wondering when this was gonna happen, but...
I know.
I love
You're
you,
the
man.
best. I love you too.
I always know that you're just going to be a huge failure, and I'm so happy You're connecting it.
And now it's like, you know, I don't even have anything to worry about because I've given up on it. Like, I have no hope.
5. But I always come away with it with a couple of really great, commercial videos and all that stuff. So hell, what do we got? 914-200-0269. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about that? Call in with whatever you have, and you can also tell me, if you or your spouse were president and first lady, which Secret Service code names would you choose? You can even write into me, and I can read those off tomorrow night, too, because we have another little night tomorrow for one thing or another, and we're not really pressed for time. We could do a whole bunch of stuff. I like doing this every once in a while. 778, you're on the air. Go ahead. 778.
Yes.
Hey.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. I'm speaking to Frank.
Yes, indeed. How are you?
Hey, awesome. I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm calling from Canada.
Okay, hold on. You got to turn off the yeah.
Yep. Just got you turned off. So I've got an awesome birth story.
Are you sure
Are you taking birth stories?
I'm taking birth stories in the threads because we might do it either Friday night or one of those open days that we have for free play next week. But so if it's an awesome birth story, I don't want to waste it tonight. Can you go over to the forum and put it in there, and can you call in again that night? All right,
yeah, I guess I could do that.
To hell with it. Go ahead, give it to us. Give us the birth story. Is it too long?
Well, I could make it long, but
No, don't.
I'll cut it short.
Yeah, if you want to do it tonight, you just got to put it in a nutshell. Go ahead.
Okay. 1976. Me and my friends from Canada, we like to get away from the Canadian winters, and we went down to Texas every year for winter. And I ended up full-term pregnant just on the outskirts of Austin. It was just down the street from Texas Instruments, which was just starting up at the time. So this is 76. So it's full moon, and it was the night that the election was happening for Jimmy Carter. So the whole gang that lived on the property where I was hanging out went up to the property next door to watch TV because there was no TV in the barn where we were living. So we were staying in the barn. So contractions started happening, and I kind of staggered down to the main house where there was a phone, and I phoned the guys and I said, "Hey, you know what? These contractions are kind of coming pretty close. If you guys want to catch this birth, you better come back." And they said, "Well, we're watching the election results." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm going back to the barn, and I'm going to lay down, and I'm going to give birth." So I walked back, and the full moon was shining, and I was just kind of like walking down the road, had to stop a couple of times and squat down and get through a contraction. And I got back to the barn, and I laid down, and all my friends kind of burst in the door. It was just a 2-hour, it was my second delivery, so it's just a 2-hour delivery. So it was going fast, and they all came in and had this amazing birth, and everybody cheered, and it was just awesome.
Jeez.
And they didn't seem to really care about the fact that Carter got elected. And so at the end, I went out to take a pee in the moonlight and just thought, man, that was the primordial experience. So I always think of Austin because of that time. There you go, Frank.
Geez, that's such a great story. I'm happy we heard it tonight. I'm also sad that we don't have it for the main night, but we're going to remember this one. That's for damn sure. Wow. Okay. So
right on.
Here's the question. Now, the baby's father, was he down there too?
Yes, he was. There was a whole group of people that I knew in Austin. This was back in the hippie days. None of us went to hospitals.
Well, yeah, but this is all very interesting. The thing that is most interesting to me is that you would say, I'm almost ready to give birth. Let's go on a road trip from Canada to Texas. Like you had to have had some kind of before leaving Canada, you had to have known that there was a good chance you were going to come back with the baby in the back seat.
Yeah.
Because I know most people for those last 3 to 4 weeks ain't going to the grocery store, let alone get on a plane or go on a road trip for 2,000 miles, however long it is to get from Austin to Canada. So that in itself is just an incredible free spirit behavior.
Yeah, I was a pretty free spirit back in those days, and I was well supported with all my friends who were in the same light.
That's awesome.
This was my second birth. My first birth was really awesome too, in a little house on an island in the Gulf, in the Georgia Straits in BC, on the coast, and with lots of friends around. So I was pretty confident that it was going to be just fine. And I had worked in an orchard in the Okanagan a couple of months before that, and I'd saved up a whole bunch of cherry juice. I figured I'm going to drink a lot of cherry juice for my birth, and I guarded that gallons of cherry juice that I had all the way down to Austin. I wouldn't let anybody drink it. And then we broke it open. It was like champagne after the baby was born.
My gosh, cherry! I mean, that way everything about this. Every time you introduce a new detail, it becomes more magical. The gallon of fresh harvested cherry juice that was being saved to celebrate with. I mean, that's just. Here's the other thing that gets me. Okay, I'm going to go back to the barn now and have a baby, and then the baby, and everybody comes down. And you have the cheering and all that stuff, and then afterwards to go outside and take a pee in the moonlight. Like at that point where you already all cleaned up, the umbilical cord, what like everything was already. How long later was that from the actual delivery? Like a couple hours later?
Well, no, I delivered the placenta really quickly, and there was very little blood. It was just really clean birth, and people were handing the baby around, and and I just said, well, I just need to go outside and take a pee.
Wow. I don't think Lauren wasn't able to really like stand on her own for like, I was like helping her stand up. Aurora had like, Aurora did a number on Lauren, but I'm trying to imagine you just getting up and saying, listen, I got to go outside for some air. I'll be right back. And just waddling out the door.
Yeah, it was just such a cosmically beautiful evening. And
Sounds it.
The daughter that I gave birth to, she of course was, born in Texas, and we made sure she had a birth certificate. We went down to the, I don't know where it was, to apply for a birth certificate. And then when we came back into Canada, we applied for the Canadian citizen born abroad. So she's all legal, and she just loves it that she's a Texan, American citizen who lived in the States quite a while. But it's totally all like, I was a little concerned about the citizenship thing that was going on, and I kind of texted her and I said, hey, are you worried about having your citizenship taken away? And she says, no, it was totally legal. You guys got us a birth certificate, and it was fine. So
I'll tell you, it's a really wonderful story. I'm glad you shared it tonight. It's all right. I think it's better tonight, maybe because we got to spend a little bit extra time on it. Because when we do that show, it's going to have to be a little bit more of a faster pace. But I don't know. All these stories are going to be really special. So I can imagine this being like a part 1, part 2 kind of a thing. But thank you for the call tonight. This is great.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I'd love to call in again about, various aspects of living back then in the free days.
Oh, do it.
If you like.
Oh, I would love that. This show, we need to get back to doing a lot more of that and balance out the ratio. I mean, coming out of the new year, coming away from the election, out of the holidays, there's little, places to stop along the way. But, in going into January, where all that is on the agenda is the inauguration and what was going to obviously be a chaotic first month, no matter what. We didn't know how chaotic it was going to be, but eventually we're going to at least level out a little bit where we can find more air pockets to breathe. And these are the kinds of stories I want to hear more of. So thanks again for the call.
Right on, Frank. I'm watching a really nice moonrise right now. I hope you can see it too.
Nope, I can't, but have a good time. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.
Later. Last night when I left, I think it was last night when I came to the studio, or when I left the studio to go home, because then the moon was out then. The moon looked HD. Then again, it was cold. like zero humidity, negative humidity. So it was so HD, it looked like it was like an LED light in the sky. Like I wish I had one of those telescopes. There's so many great amateur astronomers out there. Incredible amateur astronomers out there. On Instagram, on YouTube. I've sent a couple of whatchamacallits, messages and invitations to people, so I hope somebody gets back to me. But that's probably who I would ask if I can get them on the air. If they've got anything that is strong enough to be able to spot this so-called asteroid that's coming our way. We'll do that in just a second. Let me take another call. 559, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Frank. This is Lynn Winters.
Hey, Lynn. It's good to hear from you.
Before it gets too far away from the call about the speaking in tongues,
yes,
I wanted to call in tonight about that. But the lady that just called right now, oh, my word.
Wonderful.
Oh, my word. Yes. I'm flabbergasted. Okay, so years ago, I don't even know how many years ago, too many years to remember, but I was trying to find a new non-denominational church. I researched churches in my area. This would have been in Modesto. I found 3. I went to 2. I didn't kind of really like them that much. And the third one that I went to, I didn't realize it was one that was really charismatic. It's hard to describe them, but one Sunday, I walked in, and by the way, I was looking for a Sabbath-keeping church, which would have been on Saturday, but I hadn't found it yet. So I go to this one. One Sunday, I arrived there, and whoever the pastor was that came on and did the beginning prayer or whatever, all of a sudden, everybody got up and started walking on their chairs. I'm sitting in my chair, and I have no idea what's going on. Then the voice up on the pulpit says for everybody to come forward. And when we get up there, the pastor's wife, who is also a preacher, was going to lay hands on us. And we were expected actually to fall out. I couldn't fall out. I don't even know how I ended up on the ground, but I ended up on the ground. As soon as I'm on the ground, I get covered up with a napkin or a blanket or something like that, which is basically noticing that this is someone that needs attention right here. I was a new member. I was just trying to find out if this was a church I wanted to go to.
Wow.
I got taken up off the floor by the youth pastor and another pastor, not the senior pastor, taken backstage around the corner into a teaching room of some sort, and the door was closed. And they knew that I was a new member and that I was just searching out the church to see if I wanted to be there or not. And they basically told me, you need to be able to speak in tongues. Have you ever done that before? Just like this guy said that called in before. If you can't speak in tongues, that means you do not have the Holy Spirit. Now, I knew I had the Holy Spirit, but I didn't believe in speaking in tongues. I didn't even know what it was, really. But I did know that there was scripture about it that spoke against it, and that there are certain things that have to be there in place already to be able to have that be biblically correct. So they actually kept me back there and coached me until I got to the point that I was so frustrated and so fearful and so feeling threatened at a brand new church that I started crying. And they said, there it is, right there. Now just start talking right now. I was crying. I was crying so hard that I was trying to explain how I was feeling threatened, actually. And the words were just coming out. I guess they were gibberish. I couldn't tell what I was saying. There it is, right there. And then I stopped for a while. I'm just crying, and the youth pastor said to me, have you ever had a tune or something come into your head that you couldn't remember where you'd heard it from? Unfortunately for me, yes. There's a tune that I was given, I don't know, probably a couple of years prior to that has 7 notes to it. I can't kickstart it myself. Obviously, the Holy Spirit gave it to me when I was in prayer, in fear for something, and asking for God's help. And I was given this tune, and basically it just has 7 notes to it. Again, I can't kickstart it. It has no words to it. And I said, yes, there it is. There's your Holy Spirit right there. There's you've got the Holy Spirit then. Yes, you can speak in tongues. Continue to do that. So that's the foundation for. I went to that church for a few more months. until they found out that they're actually fraudsters and they were going to go to live in Florida. And if we wanted to follow them or not, that was okay. Otherwise, they were closing down the church after they'd taken a whole lot of donation money for a remodel that I had actually given some money to. But we would go there to the church and we walk around in the different rooms, following each other, all just with our heads down and just walking around in circles, blessing the corners and blessing this corner and going in this room and chasing away supposedly the Holy Spirits, just talking gibberish. And they were all just doing it. I left that church. But I just want to say there are real speaking in tongues experiences, I'm sure. And they're biblical, I'm sure. But that was not one. It was threatening. It was fearful. It was really scary. But since it was so much like what the gentleman before when he called, I thought I really could need to call tonight and say yes. I'm sure and I was like waiting for him to say the name of my church that I'd gone to, and right now I can't remember the name of it. But it was in the desk though.
Well, that's the thing about this call is, Lynn, that there's probably so many small little operations like this all over the place that are very strange, and for as much as could be said about I don't know, this is just nuts. It's not, and it's exactly what I expect. And again, it's not because I discount our relationship to the spirit world and to be a vessel for those things that are holy or evil or whatever. I really do. Yeah, absolutely. Not to discount that at all. I just think that there is most of this stuff that makes it out there. I don't think it's all performative. And what you're describing there is like gangster shit.
Oh yeah. And they left town with donation money too after we were remodeling the church.
I mean,
like, okay,
they took you to the back room like it was like Joe Pesci in Casino.
Yeah, and closed the door. I was a brand new member. I wasn't even a member yet.
I can't. Well, I mean, I can't believe that you actually lasted long enough for the church to leave you. You didn't even leave the church. So do you think if they stayed around if they stayed in town for another year, you would have been there for the whole year, or were you on your way out?
Oh hell no! I was on my way out. I was scared to death. Yeah, I was scared to death. I was on my way, and I found a church that I went to for a while that I really did like. I got in the choir and everything. I loved it. I was there for a while.
Good.
But anyway, I just had to end the story tonight because it was so much like that other gentleman that called. But the lady with the birth. Oh my word!
Listen, it's stories like that, Lynn, that I realize I have had so few. I mean, obviously we have beautiful moments, but that is almost like a primal experience. I've had so few primal experiences where there is it's you, it's your body at work, it's the deliverance of a child. You're in a barn. There's friends. There's no technology around, and then you get up and walk away, and you go take a pee in the moonlight, and you're a new.
And the full moon. Oh my gosh!
And then the chair.
I knew the moment my daughter was conceived because I remembered the full moon. Opened up my eyes. I was in a sleeping bag. Opened up my eyes, saw the full moon, and months later, God said, "Remember the full moon." Oh, that was the moment of conception.
See, and then consecrating the entire experience with fresh cherry juice.
Yes.
I mean, like I was just like, can you please? Can I just dream of that scenario tonight, please?
Yes.
That would be nice. Anyway, well, thank you. Hey, Lynn, thank you for this. I'm so glad you got through, and thank you for sharing, because I think a lot of people are going to. I mean, at the very least, if we can't relate to it, it's very fascinating stuff, and I'm glad you got out in one piece.
Yes, thank you for taking my call.
All right, take care. Be well.
And I don't hate this show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, give it a few more years then. I know you've been watching for a while, but give it a few more years. All right.
Okay.
Take care, Lynn. There you go. Oh man. NASA makes, and look here. What do you think about this? NASA makes emergency decision as chances of a city destroying asteroid hitting Earth are increased to 1 in 43. You understand how? I mean, I would take that. I would take 1 in 43 chance at a carnival spinning wheel any day. So it's probably 50-50 or 100%. Or it could just be that on this day in 2032, they're going to drop a giant tungsten rod from space, and they'll just say it's an asteroid. So, but see, for something like this, I'm going to be following amateur astronomers. There's a couple of guys, I gotta get a few of them, that they're just in their backyards. They have like these $5,000 telescopes and different types of lenses and stuff. They zoom in on the surface of the moon, but they also get real up in the face as best as you can do it on like Saturn and Jupiter, and you can see the rings. It's incredible to see the rings. It's incredible to see Jupiter and, you know, its own stripes, the eye, and you can actually see some of its largest moons out there, like Europa, and it's really just incredible, that whole Jovian system. But I wonder in time if anybody's going to be able to catch a glimpse of this thing, because I will not be taking NASA's word for anything on this. So what do you think? All I know is that if this is a city killer and it falls on a piece of land that had been magically and coincidentally slotted to become a 15-minute city, then we'll know everything there is to know about this asteroid. But damn. 708, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, it's Rev. How you doing?
What's going on, Rev?
Yeah, not too much, man. Hey, no great stories for you, but I did want to ask you a question and float an idea related to that Schumer story.
Yeah.
Where he's setting up a portal for people to, report fraud, waste, and threats to democracy.
Yes.
Well, maybe we should run a counterinsurgency and file claims on his portal against all the things that we already know that they're doing.
Oh, I you know what? It's a great idea, and I bet you any money, and I'm going to read through some of these comments here because this got ratioed to hell. It's got 14,000 likes, 34,000 comments, and this has been up since yesterday, so people have been lighting him up, and I am sure, I wish that we could just see what's already been submitted, Rev. I wish that we can see what's already been submitted. Like, I saw somebody in the Gilded chat say that we should report the gay pornographers that were in the Senate filming stuff in there. I know that one person was kicked out or whatever for filming the porn inside of the Senate chambers, but it's not just about throwing that in their face. It's about something else that has gone completely unresolved in that particular situation. That was part of a Capitol Hill staff secret chat room. It was a chat server for these staffers out there, and they were sharing homemade porn and all that stuff. I mean, this is the
hardcore porn at that. Yeah,
exactly. And they're doing it on Capitol grounds as well. So there was no follow-up investigation to that. Absolutely not. So I would love to see little things like that. I'm sure it has already been. I'll look through it. And listen, Rev, if you do anything, if you do submit anything, take screenshots of your submissions before, and ice out whatever you don't want us to see. But I'd like to see what some members of this audience go and send off to that portal. If you do send anything to the portal, ladies and gentlemen, take a screenshot so we can collect the best ones and maybe read them on air.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. Maybe a new thread, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, thanks for the call, Rev.
All right, catch you later.
Take care. Yeah, let me look at some of these. Let me see here. Hold on a second. In the comments, there's Elon Musk. Look into this Schumer guy. He's definitely done crime. Molly Hemingway. What was that, the Federalist? Yeah, Molly Hemingway from the Federalist. Oh, she already submitted. Nature of complaint, retaliation, agency or organization involved, United States Senate. Please explain your whistleblower complaint. This is from Molly Hemingway. I wasn't sure whether to file this under retaliation or criminal activity, but on March 4th, 2020, United States Senator Chuck Schumer, a top Democrat in the country, threatened Justices Kavanaugh and Gorsuch that they would face violence if they ruled on an upcoming decision in a way that dissatisfied Schumer and other Senate Democrats. He issued that this threat of violence, that these men would pay the price. I think that they would reap the whirlwind, I think, or something like that. That these men would pay the price if they didn't follow Schumer's demands at their workplace, the steps of the Supreme Court. Later, a Democrat activist showed up on Schumer's threat, followed up on Schumer's threat, and tried to kill Justice Kavanaugh and his family at their home, which had been besieged by Democrat protests. Other justices and their families, some of which include small children, have also dealt with threats by physical safety following Schumer's threat. Here's a video to support this report, and then just drop the YouTube link in there. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This portal's going to get shut down. It's probably already shut down. He's probably, you know what? Just have it all. Just forget about it. Just forget about it. Throw it all away. Don't even check the inbox. Never mind. Jeff Carlson, still have not got him on the show after all these years, said it's wild that you're recruiting government employees involved in the corruption to target the people exposing the corruption. This is what I'm saying. They get they're very shifty and very crafty. This is what they do for a living. Corruption and collusion. This is their business. The government is their place of business. They are not there for some dedication. They're not dedicated. It's not a vocation. This is not something that they're doing out of love for to leave it. This is their business. Okay? All they're doing constantly is thinking about how they can be 5 steps ahead of their opposition. That's it. Governance is just part of the game. Let's override Chuck's new portal with thousands of links to DOGE reports. Be a whistleblower, just not the kind that he's looking for. Oh, man. Well, I wish I could see what the hell's in there. People are submitting stuff for January 6th. Yeah. All right. Let's see. 8:52. Before we go any further, I really want to make sure I get this in for tonight. What's going on with the after hours? Here is the after hours for the 11th of February. Michael Knowles. We got Michael Knowles' thoughts on Kanye West's wild Twitter rants. What else do we have? Second one up is Shane Cashman, our buddy Shane Cashman. Eggs are dominating the headlines. J.D. Vance speaks at Paris AI Action Summit. Jim Lee, Diamond Dust, Geoengineering, Diamond Dust. You have Diamond Dust. I have to try to get my Jim Lee impersonation down. I can do it. I just haven't really practiced. I should do it, though. Tucker Carlson interviews Mike Benz. And then Coast to Coast AM kicker, the alien message is clear. We are in danger. That's all on quitefrankly.tv after this is over. And since we'll have room for one more call, but again, let me say, for those of you who are sponsors of the show that wanted the Keto Brains samples, just go back to the beginning of the show if you can, and just remember, if you are the one that gets one of these oversized envelopes that come with a $3.85 postage charge from the USPS, please return to sender, and we will resend it in the right package free. Or if you already paid it, which there's a couple of you who did because you just wanted to try the Keto Brains, get in touch with me if you paid that $3.85, because we're going to send you more product to make up for this mistake. And yeah, that's really it. And of course, if you want to try some, get in touch with me and we'll put you on the list, because it's throughout the month of February. I want as many people as possible to try this out, and I'll give away a bag to just the general audience in maybe about another couple of episodes or so. All right, let's take another call to end the show tonight. 870, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. Thanks for taking my call.
Great for calling in.
I've been hearing you mention the 250th birthday of America off and on, and I just wanted to alert you and your listeners that next month on the 23rd is the 250th anniversary of Patrick Henry giving his famous "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death" speech at Old St. John's Church in the Second Continental Congress of 1775. And anyway, I just wanted to share that with everyone because my ancestor was the rector of that church, Reverend Miles Selden.
Well, I'm really happy that you called it. Is this Carrie?
Yes.
Well, Carrie, thank you for calling in and bringing this up, because it is a good thing to remember for everybody going throughout this year, leading into next year, that there is so much to commemorate even right now. So the first thing you brought up was Patrick Henry. The first thing I thought about since you brought that up was April 19th, 1775. It's going to be 250 years since Lexington and Concord in April. There's so much stuff coming up for us. It's not just in 26, but just this year, there's so much great stuff to reflect on. And if you can please email the show or something about that. I like to put it on my calendar, so at least we can get excerpts from Patrick Henry's speech, or I can find a really good video that we can play during a break or something. I don't want to miss this stuff.
Yeah, there is so much. You look at a timeline and you can just see the whole buildup of the buildup to the revolution, and it's like that's what we're celebrating. So I think it's awesome. I actually had 3 ancestors that were in that convention.
That's incredible. See, that's another thing I love circling back around to every couple of years is 6 degrees of separation, because we've had so many great callers, people from the audience call in and talk about their long American lineage that goes back to even beyond that. We're talking about the Mayflower sometimes. It's just really, really awesome. I love getting these stories and these commemorations from you guys. So thanks again for the call, Carrie, and thank you for putting that on our radar.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. Have a good one. Yeah. April 19th, 1775. British troops marching from Boston to Concord to seize weapons and arrest colonial leaders. It'll be, God willing, man, just health. That's all I care about. Everybody just healthy and happy. We can get through everything else if we have our health. That's all I pray on. Really is. I had a wonderful, wonderful member of the audience email me. So many of you are so good to me and my family. And just wanted to let me know that they'll be praying for us so that everything resolves with this building over here. And I had to tell them, thank you. Thank you. But if you're going to pray for me, and I'm going to be keeping you in my prayers as well, please just reserve your prayers for me and my family's health. That's it. Whatever happens to this building, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We take good care of the things that we have, and wherever we go, we will take good care of it once again. And everything in this room is mine. It's coming with me. It's just 4 walls when everything that's inside of it is out of it. And really, I think something's telling me that we're going to be here for at least another year or two. Because even if they get approval for what they're looking for right now, there is so many things that holds up projects like that, and you just don't know. As long as I have a timeline, just talking about the building in particular and this show's physical location, but as long as I have a timeline and we don't have big foggy, we don't know, unanswered questions, question marks all over the place, as long as we have a timeline that we can prepare, we can go out, we can see what's available for commercial space, we can get excited. There's something about letting go of something you thought you couldn't let go of, that once you do it and you take that first big satiating breath after the tension, after you're holding on, it's like, no, once you let go, and that can be a figurative thing there, it doesn't have to be physical, but it, especially after a breakup or something like that, especially if it was a bad breakup, that one day you get in your car, you roll the windows down, and you're just on the highway, a good song comes on, and then all of a sudden you take that first big barrel-chested, satiating breath that you haven't been able to take in a long time, and you just feel it break. You feel the tension actually break. It may not be completely gone, but all of a sudden you feel it break. It's almost like a knuckle popping. but it's a spiritual knuckle. You know, it's those are the greatest moments where you just feel it lessen. You just get a little bit more room. So I thank you all. Thank you all. And I know that, you know, having a place to say, I'm at Studio A, there'll always be a Studio A. So thank you for your prayers. And let's just keep praying for each other's health and happiness, because everything else takes care of itself. Seriously, that's really what it is all about. Okay, that's it. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, you got a great after hours that's been put together by John Carroll on quitefrankly.tv. Sorry for all of the weird technological disruption at first, but we got through all right. Let me go check out. There's no Rumble rants there. And let me see here. Jay Britt says, my Secret Service code name is Asshole and Aphrodite. There you go. Asshole and Aphrodite. Duke Nukem USA says, sending this rant again, but this time not late. Full-time horror sci-fi sculptor here and death metal musician. Oh, I know this. I know Duke Nukem. Not your typical Trump supporter. Haha. What's your favorite horror sci-fi movie, Frank? Horror sci-fi. I guess Event Horizon. That would be science fiction, right? I'm thinking about horror sci-fi. The only thing that comes to mind, I guess 2001 is kind of like a horror film. Kind of. You know? Just that whole idea of just being alone and desolation of space, you and an AI that's run amok. That in itself, but I mean, Event Horizon. How am I right? Anybody in the chat room? Yeah, Aliens, no doubt. Yeah, but Event Horizon is the first one that came to my mind because it is Sam Neill. It's a scary film. I mean, it gets you thinking. So yeah, all right. Well, there you go. I hope that that gave you some kind of an answer that you can hang your hat on for tonight, and that's that. All right, tomorrow is Wednesday, and we'll be doing a little bit more of the same. We'll see what is hot in the news sphere. I'll see what other kind of topics I have on tap, and we'll expand on one of those. But you guys really stepped up to the plate once again, and I really thank you so much. Please join us afterwards on quitefrankly.tv. Become a sponsor. Become a sponsor this month for as little as $5 a month. It's all on the sponsor us page and everything else. Lauren and I are going to be starting to assemble all of our welcome packages for you. All new sponsors are getting movie themed welcome packages. Hop on board. You still got time to watch Interstellar and join us on Monday night. It's going to be really, really a great switch up. And I can't wait to, during break, I got in touch with Jeremy Ryan Slate. I said, hey, what would you think about being a co-host on the new film club for the night that we do Gladiator? We're going to have to do Gladiator. We must. And to do Gladiator with a Roman Empire enthusiast and scholar, that would be awesome. So, sky's the limit, man. Become a sponsor and become part of the fun and help expand the operation. We will see you soon. Catch you later.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed for a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starting with Jay Britz, Duke Nukem USA, and Jay Britz again. Thank you, Stowstube, as well, to all of our wonderful friends out there across Pilled and Stat Safety Net. Thank you, Sean Joe, Brew Bark, and all the rest. I'm releasing the scratching right now. I'll even be dumping out the treasure chest on D Live, and I'll catch you in a bit, ladies and gentlemen. Be good to yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow night.